One of the first things that I want to talk about today is the Monster Hunter Wilds Championship. So I didn't watch it. I didn't get to watch it live, by the way. We're going to be watching this video from Ragegaming. Make sure to give it some watch time. Give it a like. I love the Ragegaming team here. Josh, Cotton, Hollow. Love those guys. Got to hang out with them in real life on a couple of occasions. They're super awesome. And I'm guessing they got like a summary here of what is going on with the Monster Hunter Wilds World Championship, because let me tell you guys why I didn't get to watch it. I just told you guys that I've been kind of like overwhelmed over the last couple of days, and it was Friday night, and I was like, man, I really should stream this, but I was keeling over, almost falling asleep, and I was like, this is not going to be an entertaining stream because I'm too sleepy, I'm too tired, I need to go to bed, and I need to sleep. So I ended up sleeping. But let's take a look at what we got here. Let's take a look at what we got here, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, again, there's link in chat. I'm going to link it on Twitch as well. Make sure to give this some watch time. Give it a like, usual stuff. Support our boys, Rage Gaming, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's see. Going to pause the music.
Hello, and welcome back to Rage Gaming.
That's Hollow. Hollow's the one doing the video.
Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and a special Monster Hunter video for you today. That's because the USA Championship happened last night while I was sleeping instead. For the first time in 5 years then, Monster Hunter have held their own special tournament in person. This one was in San Diego at the current TwitchCon. They did this back with World, which was really cool at the time. It's great to see them do something like this, you know, fun in person again. But the basic concept was this. You've got teams of 2 hunters that work together to speedrun a target monster in the arena as quick as they can. So there was a bunch of people that did this, but it was the top 6 teams that went to the finals that actually competed at TwitchCon in front of a proper crowd. So it's a cool event to sort of celebrate Monster Hunter speedrun.
Oh, this was at TwitchCon? We have some other things we got to talk about that happened at TwitchCon. Yes, we do. But, you know, Monster Hunter Wilds, awesome. Capcom made an awesome event. And also, 2 of the people that were in the top 3, I think they ended up 2nd place, was Nightside and DJ Johnny, who are other creators that I really like and that I've interacted with, and I've worked with them for the Hunters Awards and stuff like that, and they're super chill dudes. Really, really like them, so I was super happy to see that they ended up 2nd place. Really, really cool. I was rooting for them.
Right. Putting a spotlight on that cool aspect of the community. Now, the qualifiers already happened, in which they went against the Kumatrice in the arena, so not the hardest target ever, but the times they got were pretty impressive. Plus, the target we're looking at for the finals is Rathalos, so a bit harder. But no matter where you placed, if you were in the top 6, you get a Baby Sacred plushie and a special Rathalos hoodie. But the top 3, they got a trophy tied to their placement. They look really cool. 3rd and 2nd place getting this sort of special horn set up.
And by the way, in case you guys are wondering, well, what's the setup for the tournament? It's arena quests. So it's just like the type of arena quest that you're experiencing in game. They all get like a preset, you know, a pre-made set of mixed armor as well as weapons and all of that, and you have to use the stuff that you are provided with. At least that's my understanding of it.
And reference the actual event, but 1st place is insane. Arkveld's head just sort of pouring out a pillar that's holding it up. That looks incredible, and because it's a team of 2, both players get their own insane trophy. So fantastic. So who and what won? What was their strategy? What was going on? We're going to take a look. We did get a little look at the qualifier though. Piles of people in a private room set up with all the loadouts and hunt itself. Everyone seemed very positive, very hyped. I definitely think it looked fun. But obviously it resulted in 6 teams for the finals. There was Bruh, Karting Club, Taste Technicians, Bromigos, Heaven or Hell, and
Karting Club
from bottom to top in the initial placements. So
those were the ones I was rooting for.
The event had our awesome community manager, Joe Bustos, running the event. And
Joe Bustos! Shout out for Joe. Can we get some hearts in chat for Joe? One of our community managers. Awesome dude.
2 great hosts for it, doing interviews and commentary, Jal Bagel and Lord Vietnam.
Did he say Joe Bustos? I'm curious.
Initial placements. So let's look at the finals. The event had our awesome community manager, Joe Bustos, running the event.
Bustos. Bustos. Name is Bustos.
And 2 great hosts for it, doing interviews and commentary, Jal Bagel and Lord Vietnam. who, by the way, was an incredible help in the review build of Wilds. When we were able to play the game a little early...
Oh yeah, Vietner is the friggin' beast, as well as Jalbagel. But yeah, Vietner, in terms of like knowledge and stuff, I feel like he was doing the Lord's work with a lot of this stuff.
See Lord answering people's questions, hopping in hunts, sharing what he'd learned, so it's really cool to see him here. But you have 3 loadouts to choose between, and you're forced into those setups. That means you couldn't choose from all the 14 weapons, but only 6 total. And then you've got equipment and a skill set tied to that, and you make the most out of it. So for
was the gun lance an available weapon? I don't think it was. That's why I didn't participate. You know, they were like, no, we can't have the gun lance there, otherwise Rurikhan will come over, completely dominate everybody. Solo, doesn't even need a partner, just like solo dominate everybody. So no gun lance, so that Rurikhan doesn't come in here and humble everybody. That's what happened. Okay, absolutely 100% guaranteed, confirmed, for real, for real.
Loadout 1, you had a longsword or charge blade. For loadout 2, you had the insect glaive or heavy bowgun, and finally for the third loadout, you had the hunting horn or sword and shield. Now importantly, that third set came with a single flash pod, which is obviously impactful in this hunt. Let's take a look at the hunts, do a quick overview of how it went and some of the coolest stuff that happened. For the first hunt of the day, we saw the use of hunting horn and insect glaive initially, so that's set 2 and 3. The team brought had a great opening. The insect glaive instantly mounted Rathalos, while this gave the hunting horn player time to apply the buffs for the team. So, you know, instead of wasting time
that's a
playing
really
the
good
songs,
strategy.
it's efficient. Then the hunting horn player swapped their weapon out to the sword and shield to keep the buffs for a bit. As soon as Rathalos went down, they went in on their head. It was a paralysis SNS, and of course with the shield bonks, you're building up KO at the same time, so they're building up for DPS windows. Very smart stuff. Now, not long into the hunt, we see that first...
Look at him just spamming Perfect Rush. You'll love to see it.
Paralysis proc, leading into a Perfect Rush combo in this context. After Rathalos gets up here, that's when they would use their first flash pod from that third set, just like we mentioned. So that opens up another DPS window, great control. So the first half of the fight went really well, but the second half goes a bit messier. Like, at this point, the hunting horn buffs run out, and in that moment, the glaive player triggers a second mount to get back some control. But obviously, while they're mounted, the other player deals less damage, and the SNS player didn't swap to hunting horn to rebuff or anything like that. Interestingly, the glaive player was using a lot of aerial attacks. The set does encourage it, but they weren't doing the familiar Essence Dump loop at all. But the worst part was when we saw the SNS player car to the fire almost 4 minutes into the hunt.
The greed!
End of the kill, which is a huge blow. They get back.
I respect the greed. I absolutely respect the greed. You always go for the glory. Every single time!
Into it, get a power proc, and end the hunt pretty quick there at a 4 minute and 34 second clear.
That's pretty good.
So a solid sub 5 to start us off, solid strats, but some things went wrong. Let's jump into the next hunt and see what
DJ Johnny and Nightside!
329, nearly a full minute faster. How did they do that? Well, it's the same setup, set 2 and 3 being used, so we're seeing that trend. The difference here is instead of swapping to SNS, the hunting horn user stayed on the hunting horn. Hunting Horn, as we've seen with Omega, is doing insane.
Hunting Horn is a beast of a weapon. A lot of people are discarding the Hunting Horn as support, and usually whenever I refer to Hunting Horn as support for Omega, I'm just saying like, okay, the Hunting Horn user will likely pop some heals while he's doing his thing, because it's just focused on the buff, so it just makes sense. But Hunting Horn is an absolute beast when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I've actually been working on a new Hunting Horn set. I haven't finished it because I have to go back to low rank and grind a bunch of materials because I need to craft the Arkveld hunting horn. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a support hunting horn set. By support, I mean it will have support skills, but it's also going to pump some deeps, which is probably going to be a pretty beastly hunting horn set for Omega. That's something I've been working on.
In terms of output, especially with the benefits of easier placement of the echo bubbles lately, the reverbing hits those provides, the hilt stab, and the general
by the way,
output
is the
strong.
audio good?
Anyway, the hunt leads into an early offset from that horn user, bringing Rathalos down for a nice DPS window. Awesome to see some offsets. It landed importantly in pre-set up echo bubbles for proper DPS. That alongside the impressive blunt KO buildup on the head, the horn actually brings down the Rathalos a second time for another DPS window, so it's working overtime. Again, interestingly, is how the glaive user maintains their essence instead of dumping and recovering like you might normally see. It's the hunting horn user that's spending all of their wounds by focus striking it. This is because it has a longer animation, interrupting Rathalos for longer, letting the glaive deal great DPS. but obviously
Smart.
it involves the echo bubbles and keeping their placement good. Things do go wrong though. Their flash pod did whiff, which means it didn't bring down Rathalos, which would have been a huge DPS window. Towards the end of the hunt, we do see the Rising Spiral slashes being used a bit for some good output. Since it's towards the end, they don't need to get the essence back, and they ultimately result in a 329 kill time, which is obviously over a minute faster, so pretty impressive.
Really
Moving
good.
on though, we have the third team's attempt, where we'll do some quicker talks from here. Finally, we're seeing a different weapon being used. We have the heavy bowgun from set 2, where the other player used...
Boo! Imagine using heavy bowgun. Boo! I'm joking. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. The only gun in this game is the gun lance. Everybody knows it is what it is. It's that simple.
Using the third set again with Hunting Horn and Sword and Shield, but it's still set 2 and 3 once more. They open the fight with S&S early instead of using Hunting Horn or buffing strats, and go for an early KO. The heavy bowgunner has some interesting potential here, with pierce ammo to, run down the length of Wrath, the fact that the bowgun can perfect guard, or to set up a clash DPS window, or offset in a pinch. And when they did go for their offset, sadly it didn't land.
That poor sword and shield user. I feel so bad. The sword is like, He's trying to hit Rathalos.
Which would have had some big impact. They use a variety of ammo,
I feel that.
Some cluster bombs initially, a bit of potential spread use early, a lot of water ammo for the element, and poison for that status, which maybe should have been used a lot earlier. And we see they're going to use their gauge to machine gun fire throughout any knockdown or power proc for those DPS windows. Despite all of that, the hunt ends with a 5 minute and 6 second clear time, which is the slowest of the 3 so far, but actually puts it overall, I believe, at 4th place. So things take an interesting twist from here. For our next team, we finally see a proper fresh loadout. This one, again heavy bowgun. Then our first longsword of the day. Unfortunately, things go very messy in this hunt.
Good. Longsword players get what they deserve. I'm sorry, I'm joking. I love the memes.
Where there's a good approach, but it just goes wrong. The gunner carts to the same attack we saw the first cart of the tournament of, which was the Fire Breath Drag, super deadly. Ever since Rise, I've been very wary of that attack. And
Here
sadly, a second cart happens, this time for the longsword user, only for a third cart with the gunner to go down not long after that. Despite this, they still manage a 555, so sub 6 is still impressive considering 3 carts. But while there was potential here, it just went wrong. And I don't begrudge them for this. In front of a crowd on the stage, the pressure is...
The pressure is crazy if you're doing stuff like this, by the way, absolutely. Unless you're like me and you just don't care. If you're actually trying to do proper time, I'd be in there just like, yep, don't care, let's go.
A lot higher. And in a speedrun environment, when you make the first major mistake, it's often just over. And in this context, you can't reset, which is hard on the mental. But that brings us to the 5th team, which is hilariously and wonderfully using 2 longswords. These chads are going for
Heresy. 2 longswords? What the fuck, bro?
it with the counter spam and the solid respectful range of longsword against a flying enemy. I really like it in the arena environment against Wrath and Rathian. But to cut to the chase for this pair, it doesn't go great. There's 2 carts with each player going down once. The first cart was to the Fire Breath Drag, of course. The second was more of an awkward moment, going for a foresight sort of counter, but messing up the timing, leaving them exposed to the following fire shot that takes them out. So as much as I respect this fun setup, it goes wrong and ultimately leads to a 544 clear. So not last place, which is reasonable considering. But I think from that, we can see that from the 3 sets, set 2 and 3 has the best potential in combination. So for our last team of the day, I noticed in their little interview how serious these guys were. They talked about focusing on heavy consistency to get the top time they got with the first hunt. They claim to have ran the specific hunt many times in prep and have a very good plan in mind. So let's take a look. So it's set 2 and 3 again with the Hunting Horn and Insect Glaive specifically, of course. But differently here, the players grab burst pods as they drop down. One of the players explained that if they fired this at the ground, it kind of draws the attention of Wrath, meaning it lands so they're the first team to actually be able to land a sneak attack. So that's huge damage and CC for the setup.
Cheaters!
It's a big role because the Hunting Horn user gets to quickly prep all their songs in that moment. The Hunting Horn user sets up their bubbles, while the Glaive user stands in on top of that. Holding position as best they can in the bubbles, the glaive user immediately pops the Rocksteady to ignore the roar, maintain DPS, and general damage reduction. Then they get an air flinch for some safe DPS, which then leads into a full knockdown with the damage on the head for fantastic DPS in that window. Plus, it's on the edge of the echo bubbles, so I think they're working. They both heavily focus on the head to maximize the hit zone, the glaive user spamming Rising Slash, but never going for the Spiral Essence Dump to maintain DPS at the head. This is because they're letting the Hunting Horn user engage with the wounds like we saw earlier. So it's the longer interruption, DPS freedom for the glaive during it, but again helping set up more echo bubbles at the same time, which is clearly worth it. Again, the glaive user has Flare 5 on that set, which helps them engage with the wounds.
I just wanted to point out something, which, you know, if you guys are not familiar with Hunting Horn, you might not notice, but this guy, Kurai over here, playing the Hunting Horn, he actually knows exactly what he's doing, because one of the things that is tricky because, you know, a lot of people might be feeling tempted to play Hunting Horn because they have like the good setup, they have good buffs for the team, it's just like a really good weapon, and because it is that third loadout or whatever it is that also comes with the flash, it's just like a very good weapon for you to use for this specific quest. So I'm assuming that some of the speedrunners that were running this, they might not be Hunting Horn mains. I don't know if this guy plays Hunting Horn a lot or not, but I can tell you that he's definitely practiced the fuck out of it, because one of the things about the Hunting Horn that I always find somewhat tricky is the
glaive during
focus strike. Like if you see in the focus strike here, notice how he has 2 Echo Wave blunts already set up. And in the focus strike, he's going to go in there and he's going to land another Echo Wave blunt, landing all 5 notes and setting up for the next melody that he's going to be using. And that is how you can tell whether or not somebody knows what they're doing with the Hunting Horn, is how good they are at inputting notes during the focus strike. I mean, that's not the only thing, obviously, placing down the bubbles, but inputting notes while you're doing the bubbles. But like landing the 5 notes consistently at the right cadence to do the proper maximum damage of focus strike is...
But again, helping set up more echo bubbles
1,
at the same
2,
time,
3,
which is
4,
clearly
5. Boom.
Again,
lands
the glaive
all
user
of
has
them.
Flare 5
and
on that
goes
set,
in instantly with 3 Echo Wave blunt performances on top of the friggin' echo
wounds,
bubbles to
and
go
then
with
let
it.
the Hunting Horn user actually use them. As soon as that ends, the Horn user moves to the side with a flash pod prepped for yet another DPS window
and
for
another
both
one.
of them.
1, 2,
this is where
3,
things get a bit
4,
more messy
5.
for most runners.
Doing both self-improvement as well as Echo Wave. No, he only
thankfully,
did Echo Wave blunt. Never mind. But yeah, he's already
it
got
goes well for this team.
all
and
the
the
Echo
moment
Wave
Wrath
blunts.
gets flying, it flings itself back in straight into a Hunting Horn.
Oh, the offset, bro. What the fuck? I'm over here singing this guy's praises, and it's like, let me just casually land this offset real quick.
Offset, which again holds it in place.
What a Chad.
DPS window.
What a fucking
that
Chad.
really seals the deal as Wrath dies at an incredible time of 2 minutes and 29. By far the fastest time. Again, a full minute ahead of second place, which is crazy. So set 3 is the most popular set, with set 2 closely behind that, for specifically Hunting Horn and Insect Glaive as the most used weapons of the 6. We also saw no Charge Blade today, but with the sets, the skills and items you get, it plays a heavy role in this context. Rocksteady Mantle, the Flash Pod, they're very valuable, but then the skills that you have and how much you engage with them. This does relatively line up with the weapon rankings and the outputs we've seen from the many that I've done. Hunting Horn remaining near the top right now, Insect Glaive being a top 5 performer for a lot of rankings. But I think their strategy and how they engaged with the skill sets of the loadouts was the biggest deal. But yeah, that brings us to the end then. Third place with a 434, the team that used Insect Glaive and Hunting Horn but swapped to SNS off the Horn. Second place with a 329, the team with the Glaive but then consistent use of the Hunting Horn instead of buffing.
Nightside
but
and
obviously
DJ Johnny.
A couple things
Love
went wrong
those
for
guys.
them. And finally, first place with an incredible 229, maximizing the loadout, the items, the clear focus of the Glaive and Horn working in the best team play we saw, the burst pods being used, the sneak attack. I would say loadout 3 was the clear winner. So props to them, this was great to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed my recap and my overview of the event. It's really nice to see Capcom do this kind of thing and see some dedicated players with some clever strats for the situation. Shout out again to Lord Vietna and Jal Bagel for doing the commentary and interviews, Joe Bustos, our CM, for running it. And again, I really hope we see more of this in the future. In fact, Josh was telling me about something happening in France soon, so we might talk about that too.
There's
Until next time.
There's Paris Games Week coming up, but yeah, this was awesome. Thank you very much to the guys over there at Rage Gaming for giving us this recap. That was really good because unfortunately I have a pretty packed couple of days. It's going to be kind of hard to go and watch the whole thing. But yeah, that was really good.